now.
You are not. I see right through you. I see who you are. Just another hater. Everything.
It's been 2 years since Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City for the Golden State Warriors. You may recall that he received plenty of criticism for that decision. But after back-to-back championships and back-to-back finals MVP awards, KD, I think he's okay with that decision. Recently, he was on a podcast hosted by Blazers guard CJ McCollum. Listen to what CJ said about the Warriors landing Boogie Cousins.
You know how I felt, bro. I was hot. I don't know if I was more mad than when you went to go. I think I was more mad.
Why are you mad about this stuff?
Bro, I'm in the league. What do you mean? Why am I mad about this?
I mean,
I'm in the Western Conference. I got to play you MFers all the time anyway, as it is, over and over again. We done got eliminated by y'all a few times in the first round. So I'm looking at Cuz.
You know you guys aren't going to win a championship.
Bro, we have the team. We have capabilities. Anything is possible. We can win a championship.
That's just cold.
Kevin was just laughing at that thought. And then on Twitter last night, things escalated after McCollum replied to a tweet using the word soft to describe Kevin Durant's decision to join Golden State 2 years ago. Durant responded by saying in part, you think that low of me, CJ? I just did your bleeping podcast. Snakes in the grass, boy, I tell ya. End quote. And then just this afternoon, KD was asked about it at Team USA's practice in Las Vegas. Here's Kevin Durant.
Was that all fun, or was it?
What you thought it was?
It seemed a little more serious.
Why?
Just because it seemed like you were upset.
Why me?
Because of what he had said when he answered that other tweet.
So why isn't he upset?
He doesn't seem to be upset now.
So why am I upset?
I don't know. I mean, I just thought when you put the
You did his podcast.
And you butted the effing podcast and the snake.
But so I'm the upset one because he responded to something I said.
Well, it seemed like he was almost saying something about you, and then you responded to that.
Yeah, but he didn't have to say something about it.
No.
Okay, then. So how am I upset?
He went first.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
And then you're upset, and he went first.
So CJ's not upset, but I am. You got something to say, don't get mad because I say something, and then you catch feelings. I call you out on it, and I'm insecure, and all these, everybody running with it. Now people come to me like, damn, man, I didn't know you were so cool when they meet me in person. Why? Because what y'all say. But that goes for everybody around here. Y'all say about them, they don't say nothing, and they just keep adding on. But I'm the one. I just talk. I say how I feel.
Hi, Brian Windhorst, live in Las Vegas for Team USA basketball minicamp. Brian joining us now live. Okay, first of all, Kevin did a great job flipping that interview on the reporter. Leave that alone. But he knew exactly what he was doing when he tweeted out that stuff last night. You tell me, how legitimate is this beef between KD and CJ?
KD, you mad, bro? I mean, what's going on here? We're not even talking about practice. At a practice, we're talking about tweets. He says he and CJ will be fine. They'll have a glass of red wine together later this summer. It's all ado about nothing. What he wasn't happy about, Sage, was the fact that people were making a big deal about it. He says that people in the media react to what he says on social media, and they make him look insecure. And I would say, Kevin, you're a two-time champ. Two-time finals MVP, regular season MVP. Stop worrying about what people say. Maybe you are insecure about it. But I will say this, if that's what we're talking about on USA minicamp today, I think his life's okay.
Yeah, I think so. But again, when he says, hey, snakes in the grass, boy, he means exactly what he says. And of course, people are going to react. He's the two-time finals MVP. Okay, to your point, a lot on the court going on, thank goodness. What were some of your big takeaways from today, Brian?
Yeah, I thought, we all forget that not only Paul George signed a big contract this summer, he also had knee surgery back in May, yet he was out on the court today looking great, Sage. He was doing full contact, moving all around the court, playing offense, playing defense. I thought Paul George was maybe one of the highlights on the court today, and definitely a good sign for the Thunder. Also out there today, the MVP, James Harden, looking very trim and very aggressive. He told us that he hasn't been able to stop thinking about Game 7, and he's been practicing and working out almost every day since that terrible loss to the Warriors where he struggled so badly, and it shows he is in great shape. Also, he said he's been communicating with Carmelo Anthony on a regular basis, expects him to sign in the next few days. Now, also, Kyrie Irving was not on the court today, Sage, But very good news from him. He has been cleared after those 2 knee surgeries in the spring that knocked him out of the playoffs. He's been cleared for basketball activities. He's doing one-on-one drills again, and is on track indeed to play with the Celtics at the start of training camp. So very good news on the Kyrie Irving front for the Celtics from Team USA.
All right, Brian Windhorst with the very latest from Las Vegas. You behave out there, Wendy.
Indians win 4-0. Speaking of winners.
Yeah, Zubin, how about this? You know, Antonio Brown showed up to camp in a helicopter. How cool is this? KD rolls like this. Mug on an Alaska airplane. He was welcoming a youth team at the airport in Oaktown today. CJ McCollum is not happy about that. Mark Spears spoke with the 2-time NBA champ.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a perfect decision, perfect move. Did everything you're supposed to do in Cleveland. I think this is a perfect next step for him. And he's kind of breaking down the barriers of what an NBA superstar is supposed to be. You know, you feel like you're supposed to just, play it out in one spot. I think he did a good job of giving you different chapters, and it's going to make his book even more interesting when it's done.
Now, with DeMarcus, did DeMarcus reach out to you? How did you first hear about Cousins being interested in the Warrior? And I'm sure you were a little shocked by it.
Yeah, definitely. We all were. I got a call that morning, I think, from Bob, and just said it's a possibility, and I'm like, no way. And then I went to the movies throughout the day, and I got like 3 or 4 calls in the movies I had to ignore. And then when I got out, it said it was finalized, and I FaceTimed DeMarcus, and I was just so excited because I knew how important this time was for DeMarcus to find a team, find somebody that's going to, help him kind of, get through this injury first and then, play his best basketball. So I think it's going to be perfect for both spots, for him and for us.
For a guy who's constantly dealing with hate, what did you think about all the hate that came from you guys getting Cousins?
Well, it was expected. I mean, nobody likes a great thing. I mean, greatness is rare, so, it's different, and people don't like different. So I get it. But I think for DeMarcus, I liked his approach. I like our approach to it, just coming in and just wanting to be about basketball. And, once you look at it that way, then it works out perfectly.
So how do you guys make it work, one ball and all that talent?
Throwing the ball when you got a mismatch. Throw me the ball when I got a mismatch. Clay open for a 3, pass it. Steph and pick and roll, do your thing. Draymond play defense. We'll figure it out.
Help me figure this one out, Kevin. Vince Carter still in the league. 21st year. 1 year, $2.4 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. He's going to be more of a veteran presence. The draft yielded the Hawks 3 guys, including Trae Young. So this is a good little savvy move to have, like on the road, teach you how to be a pro type thing, right?
Look, he keeps himself in great shape. I mean, so a lot of guys could learn from someone like him.
No question. He has now been with 8 NBA teams the second he puts on that Hawks jersey in the regular season opener. Raptors, Nets, Magic, Suns, Mavericks, Grizzlies, Kings, and now the Hawks. Unbelievable. 228 players have played with Vince Carter.
And we talked about career earnings, 182, right?
182. Or basically what Steph got in his last contract, plus like $40 million. Vince, you were born in the wrong year, so what can I tell you? He was drafted on June 24th, 1998, shaking the old commissioner's hand. Look at that. He was drafted, and then following that, like 3 months later, Trae Young was born. This is what people will always remember. This is why they called him Vinsanity. I mean, this is Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Dr. J level type stuff. Unbelievable. 03 All-Star game in the ATL, giving Jordan a starting spot when Jordan was with the Wizards about to say goodbye. And a decade and a half later, he is back. By the way, 03 is when LeBron and like Carmelo came into the league. So you got to think about he's still here 15 years after that. All smiles for
Raptors. However, he's decided not to participate in Team USA's minicamp this week in Las Vegas. But again, past the physical, that's a big deal considering what happened with him last season. As for the man the Raptors traded for, Kawhi, quite the week. Chris Haynes talked with DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, man, it was a blur. It was a dream. Still kind of feel, like a dream right now. But it's been tough. Had his roller coasters up and down, just trying to get acclimated to, changing teams.
How do you feel you were treated, particularly by Masai Ujiri?
I felt like I wasn't treated with what I sacrificed for 9 years, with the respect that I thought I deserved. By just giving me the say-so of letting me know something's going on or it's a chance. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I'm not saying you don't have to train me or you just let me know something going on because I sacrificed everything. Just let me know. You know what I mean? And that's all I ask. You know what I mean? I never, everybody know I'm the most low-maintenance person in the world. Just let me know so I can prepare myself for whatever my next chapter is. And I didn't get that.
You can tell this still stings for DeMar DeRozan. He ends his Raptors career as one of the most productive players in franchise history. He's their all-time leader in games played as well as points scored. He's also top 5 in steals, assists, and rebounds, and was certainly a fan favorite for the Raptors fans.
Durant surprised 80 high schoolers from Los Angeles and Oakland, taking them to Las Vegas to compete in the Bigfoot Hoops Las Vegas Classic, a tournament that helped propel his career. They went on board an Alaska Airlines Kevin Durant Boeing 737. Nike was tied to the event as part of an activation of Durant's latest signature shoe, the KD11. Also today, Durant spoke exclusively with our Mark Spears about the biggest storylines this summer around the league, starting with LeBron picking the Lakers.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a perfect decision, perfect move. Did everything he's supposed to do in Cleveland. I think this is a perfect next step for him. And he's kind of breaking down the barriers of what an NBA superstar is supposed to be. You know, you feel like you're supposed to just, you know, play it out in one spot. I think he did a good job of giving you different chapters, and it's going to make his book even more interesting when it's done.
Now, with DeMarcus, did DeMarcus reach out to you? How did you first hear about Cousins being interested in the Warrior? And I'm sure you were a little shocked by it.
Yeah, definitely. We all were. I got a call that morning, I think, from Bob, and just said it's a possibility, and I'm like, no way. And then I went to the movies throughout the day, just, you know, and I got like 3 or 4 calls in the movies I had to ignore. And then when I got out, it said it was finalized, and I FaceTimed DeMarcus, and I was just so excited because I knew how important this time was for DeMarcus to find a team, find somebody that's going to, you know, help him kind of, you know, get through this injury first and then, you know, play his best basketball. So I think it's going to be perfect for both spots, for him and for us.
For a guy who's constantly dealing with hate, what did you think about all the hate that came from you guys getting Cousins?
Well, it was expected. I mean, nobody likes a great thing. I mean, you know, greatness is rare, so, you know, it's different, and people don't like different. So I get it. But I think for DeMarcus, I liked his approach. I like our approach to it, just coming in and just wanting to be about basketball, and you know, once you look at it that way, then it works out perfectly.
So how do you guys make it work with one ball and all that talent?
Throwing the ball when you got a mismatch. Throw me the ball when I got a mismatch. If Clay open for a 3, pass it. Steph, pick and roll, do your thing. Draymond play defense. We'll figure it out.
Prediction, plenty of mismatches, especially when you see the Warriors with this all-star team. The addition of Boogie, the Warriors have 5 All-Stars from last season. According to Elias, the last team 5 All-Stars from the previous season, the 1975-76 Celtics, which went on to win the title.
For luck, breathe in so deep. This air is blessed. You share with me. Cavaliers tweeting, we love, at Kevin Love. Love posing with workers. They're renovating the Cavaliers gym. And Kevin Love has signed a 4-year, $120 million extension with the Cavs. He turns 30 in September. They believe he can help keep them at least a little bit competitive, maybe vie for a playoff spot.
He's going to score 30 a game next year.
I'll go 24.9.
Okay.
Kept getting calls back and forth with my agent. I said, you know, just really want to get this done, really want to get this done. I'm ready, you know, and I wanted to be a part of the future. So it does in a lot of ways feel like my team, but also we're the sum of all of our parts. We got a little bit spoiled with 4 years in a row of the finals, but now we get to build this thing again. And we feel like things are going to head in the right direction, and we're going to be a team that's going to play extremely hard, overachieve, hopefully, and we'll just you know, go out there, throw the ball out, and see what happens.
Well, LeBron supporting his guy, tweeting towards him, secure that money. Congrats, brother. Those are apparently 2 expensive restaurants out there and probably somewhere in the California.
Yeah,
You've probably been there.
I've not been to a restaurant, I've driven by it.
You got that kind of jack.
Nope.
And then Love responds, if it's Nobu Malibu.
It's up at Pepperdine.
Haven't seen it. Should. Let us make a love connection with Brian Windhorst right now. Brian, when you turn 30 in September, you just don't turn down about $30 million a year for 5 years. But when I ask this question, I'll keep that in mind. Why did Kevin Love sign with Cleveland? Why did Cleveland sign Kevin Love?
Well, a big thing for the Cavs was after LeBron went and signed with the Lakers, Kevin Love came to the team and said, I want to be here. I want to talk about an extension. And for a team that was hurting and a team that really went through some miserable months in 2010-11, that was a horrible season. That was exactly what they wanted to hear. And that really it got them interested in wanting to do this deal. Kevin Love could have made more money had he gone ahead and become a free agent next summer and then shopped in a market that would have had a lot of bidders in it. So he kind of gave the Cavs a bit of a discount, as much as you can say that on a $120 million extension. On the other hand, as you mentioned, he's about to turn 30. He has missed over 50 games the last 2 seasons combined. He's had 3 surgeries with the Cavs over the last few years. He's had concussion problems. And he had a team who was desperate to pay a guy to be a foundational piece going forward. So what you had is 2 motivated parties, security, stability, and at least short-term satisfaction. It was a great day in the Cavs organization. Will this be a good contract in 2 years? That's the question we're going to find out.
Let's talk about another Cleveland Cavalier great, Dwayne Wade. Reports that he's going to sign a contract in China. Is this fraudulent or is this legit?
Well, first off, I know it's a 3-year offer. Dwayne Wade is not playing 3 years in China. Dwayne Wade may play part of a year in China. It's for what looks like a lot of money, but after taxes, I mean, he would be the highest paid player in the Chinese Basketball Association, but he could make more money from the Miami Heat if the Miami Heat want to keep him. So I don't think he would do this for the short-term money. But I've talked to a couple of NBA players today, and they say it's not just about the money you're going to earn this year. It's about the money that you can make long-term if the Chinese fans fall in love with you. So that's what Dwayne Wade's got to weigh. Is this something he wants to do that could set him up to earn money and do business in China for the next 25 years? Some people would say, do it. Other people would say, you've already got your shoe over there. You're already a very well-known name. You don't want to go through what it is to play in the Chinese Basketball Association for 6 months. I will say this. Because of the way the season operates, John, he could play a full season in China and still come back and play in the NBA at the end of next season. That could be a route he looks at.
Now that's the answer I was looking for. Brian Windhorst in Los Angeles. Kevin Love played 19 games for the Cavaliers in which LeBron did not suit up for the Cavaliers. In those 19 games, he averaged roughly 19 and 11 on 41% shooting. With LeBron, he shot better because he was open more.
It's a move that takes some courage. And if you can get a top 4 player and Leonard, you go out and do it.
Maybe San Antonio didn't want a bunch of young players and picks. Maybe it was a decision to stay competitive in the West.
With DeMar coming to San Antonio, we're thrilled to have him here.
All right, we'll hear from DeMar DeRozan in a second, his one-on-one with Chris Haynes. But first, here's what DeRozan can bring to the Spurs. Without Kawhi for much of last year, Spurs had no go-to guy late in the clock. They turned to Danny Green. Per second spectrum, the Spurs averaged just 0.46 points per play on Green ISOs with less than 5 seconds on the shot clock, more of a spot-up 3 guy. The Raptors averaged 0.81 points per play, almost double, late in the clock when DeRozan ISO. Here's DeRozan, the newest Spur, with our Chris Haynes.
DeMar DeRozan, the newest member of the San Antonio Spurs. Man, what was this past week like for you?
Oh, man, it was a blur. It was a dream. Still kind of feel, like a dream right now. But it's been tough. Had this roller coaster up and down, just trying to get acclimated to, changing teams.
How do you feel you were treated, particularly by Masai Ujiri?
I felt like I wasn't treated with what I sacrificed for 9 years, with the respect that I thought I deserved, by just giving me the say-so of letting me know something's going on, or it's a chance. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I'm not saying you don't have to train me, or you just let me know something going on, because I sacrificed everything. Just let me know. You know what I mean? And that's all I ask. You know what I mean? I Everybody know I'm the most low-maintenance person in the world. Just let me know so I can prepare myself for whatever my next chapter is. And I didn't get that. You know, it seemed like I was in that discussion of moving forward with the team. You know, my whole approach was like every single summer, you know, preparing, going out there, supporting the young guys in summer league, figuring out ways how I could be better, make my team better. And that was the feeling, and that was the gist of the conversations we had, was moving forward, having the opportunity to do something special all over again, you know. So that was my mindset, and, you know, everybody around me mindset as well.
What was your thoughts initially about going over to San Antonio?
I mean, I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. I mean, second person I talked to that night that I'm close friends with is Rudy Gay. I called him. I remember I was upset. And I called him like, man, dude just traded me, man. Like, what? Rudy was like, what? To who? I said, man, to y'all. He started laughing. He said, look, I don't mean to laugh, but I got my boy back, man. That's like, but you gonna be all right, man. Don't worry about it. Everything. And I was like, man, I shouldn't even called you. I should have waited till it came out and you called me. But it was cool just to, you know, be able to call my man, somebody that's close in my life, that's on the Spurs too. So he made it easy.
So what are the Spurs getting in a player of DeMar DeRozan's caliber?
Man, it's a guy that's been proven to prove itself time and time again. You know, and this time around having the biggest chip on his shoulder ever that I done had in my career when they carried that over and play for
the last of Cleveland's big three in and paid. Kevin Love's on a 4-year, $120 million contract extension today, topping out his overall deal at 5 years, $145 million. Love opted out of his current deal to start the new extension and is happy to get paid and stay in Cleveland.
When I got traded here a few years back, we had an idea of what was Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. We got a little bit spoiled with 4 years in a row of the finals, but now we get to build this thing again. So we're definitely excited about who we have moving forward. We know that we're going to add some new pieces, but we feel like things are going to head in the right direction. A very exciting day. I actually didn't know what I was walking into this morning, which was super special, seeing the construction, put on the hard hat. It kind of felt, it felt good to be there with, you know, some real blue-collar workers out there. So that was special to be a part of that.
All right, let's go by the numbers on Love last season. He was much better defensively with LeBron off the court, posting a defensive efficiency of 101.7. Hopefully a sign of things to come for next season without the King. Love has always been proven to be versatile. Last year, it was his best in from behind the arc. He shot 41.5% from three, the second highest mark in a season in his career. And he was at his best when the Cavs needed him most. Despite playing just 59 games, Love was tied for fourth in the league in clutch time plus minus. Let's welcome in our Brian Windhorst. And Windy, this deal came as a bit of a surprise. Love signing the deal. You heard him mention that impromptu ceremony arranged by the team in front of employees and construction workers at Quicken Loans Arena. You want to get that? Hold on. Don't answer that.
I mean, it's all been taken care of. Look, the Cavs loved that as soon as LeBron James left for L.A., that Kevin Love came to them and said, hey, I want to sign an extension. If you want to find a way to Dan Gilbert's heart and Dan Gilbert signs the checks, that's a really good way to do it. And so they bestowed on him the largest contract in the history of the organization. They wanted to give it to LeBron. He didn't want it. So Kevin Love is now ready to accept it. And remember, this is a guy who's missed over 50 games the last 2 seasons. He's had 3 surgeries since signing with the Cavs a couple years ago. And he's a guy who's had concussion issues. So they've done a favor for him by giving him security, and he's doing a favor for them by committing to them at this time.
Yeah, I get that. But even though Love is locked up for the foreseeable future, I'm curious, how much do the Cavs truly value him as a foundation player going forward?
Well, they are looking at him to pair him with Colin Sexton. They think that they're going to be a really good match together. They wanted him signed for all of Sexton's rookie contract, which is 4 years, and they think that those two guys are going to be their foundation pieces going forward. Now, is that going to be the case? I don't know. I can't see the future, but that's who the Cavs see is what they want to do going forward. And they believe that Love being a big man who can play pick and roll against alongside a really good point guard is how you build a winner in the NBA, and that's what they're investing in.
Rebuild mode in Cleveland. Brian Windhorst with the latest. All things phone calls here on SportsCenter.